Hello, Nicholas G from Cloud Ready Solutions here, and I just wanted to do a short demonstration of how you can expand a UDP data store when you're running out of disk space. So we have a facility where we can actually span the data store folder onto additional disks. I came across this solution when I was looking at one of the larger Arcserve appliances, and I noticed that the X drive was less than 64 terabytes, and it makes sense that any Windows volume be kept less than 64 terabytes, so you can use Windows VSS and you can use things like Arcserve Backup in order to back it up. But obviously, the larger Arcserve appliances would need a lot more storage than 64 terabytes. And how this is done is by spanning the data store folder across multiple disks, multiple drive letters. So what I have here on the screen is actually a cloud instance that I had this problem with a few weeks ago. This is from our demo lab. And I actually had this drive here that is the G drive, and that used to be the F drive. You can see it was a 200 gig drive, and my data store was stored on it, and I pretty much hit capacity. And in order to expand the capacity, what I did was deployed a 300 gig drive, stopped the data stores, moved all the data across using Explorer, and swapped the drive letters around, and then replaced my 200 gig drive with a 300 gig drive. But you can already see that I'm running out of space on the 300 gig drive. So now I'm going to do the new alternate solution to expand the data store drive by spanning onto the G drive. So I'm first going to look at my folder structure, and I can see I've got a folder called Data Store, and inside there a folder called Data, and that's actually got the bulk of the data from the data store. That's the folder I'm going to want to span to the second disk. So I'm actually just going to go and create that same folder structure on the G drive. Okay, so I've now got my folder structure identical. So what I'm going to use is a tool that is included with Arcserve UDP, installed on every installation in the command prompt. And I've run an administrative command prompt. I'm going to navigate to Program Files, Arcserve, Unified Data Protection, Engine, Bin. Okay, so there's the full path you can see there. And the command is AS underscore GDDMGR, and it's an executable. You can actually run that and it will actually give you some information, some commands that you can use, some examples, etc. Now to increase my data store size, before I do it, actually, I want to have a look at my data store here and just to show you. There's my data store. You can see if I look at the data destination, I've got 40 gig free of the 300 gig, which matches what we saw in Explorer. So back to the command prompt because we want to expand that disk now. So I'm going to use that command again, AS underscore GDDR manager, and I'm going to use the add, data path, spell it correctly would help, add. My data store name is, just to verify, is just data store. And my new data store path, new data path, is going to be G Datastore data. And press enter. And you can now see we can successfully load the data store. Oh, and make sure the data store is stopped and try again. That's easy enough. From here, I'm just going to stop the data store. Try again. We're learning on this together. You can now see my data store status is stopped. And I'll run that same command again. Okay, so you now see we get a summary of our primary data path. We can see our F drive, which was 300 gig, and we've expanded onto this G drive, 196 gig, giving a total combined of 496 gig. Now if I start my data store, I can now see that my data destination now has 238 gigs free of 496. This has not affected the space available for the index and hash, or even the common backup destination, just the data destination where the bulk of the data is stored. So I hope that comes in helpful. Thank you for watching.